All right, so welcome back to another one, guys. This should be a pretty interesting series. We're gonna do an entire series on Livescope, and I want to do it from start to finish. You know, Livescope's been out for a good little bit now, and you know, there's a lot of people looking to get into it. It's literally change the way we fish. Not just for, I'm primarily a crappie fisherman, but it's changed the way I've catfished, bass fish, just everything. And so we're gonna do this series here, and we're gonna break it up in different parts. Hope you guys will follow along. I think it'll be very informative, especially if you're kind of on the edge, whether you want to step into the Livescope or not. And maybe if you had it for a while, you might pick up a few tips and tricks too. So anyway, let's get right into it. So we're gonna start it off pretty basic, guys. You know, choosing the right unit. So obviously Livescope here, let me kind of explain it in its basic form. You've got a transducer here that, rather than your standard like down imaging, side imaging, or 2D transducers, this is essentially a live imaging transducer. The feedback that you get on your unit is essentially live. So you can actually watch fish swim around. Once you get good at seeing the fish, you can actually determine their species. So it's a very, very, very cool tool, as well as a you know, kind of a game changer in the world of you know, brush fishing or ledge fishing, to be able to see those fish in separation. So I want to talk quickly on the units, because that's one of the big things, right? This stuff is not cheap. You're going to make an investment whenever you want to go to Livescope here. You're looking at $1,500 for just the transducer and the black box. There's every once in a while Garmin puts rebates. You can get like a $200 rebate, and then you're going to look at your head unit, right? All right, so we're going to need to make a decision on screen size. This is a pretty important decision. Obviously, you're going to pay the same price for the black box and transducer. It's going to be about $1,500. But the unit, the head unit that you choose, that can be you know, that can be a fairly decent priced unit, clear up to you can spend crazy money for it. Now, what you guys see behind me, this is the Garmin 1222. This is a non-touch screen. It's got knobs and everything else. So it's a non-touch screen. This is the cheapest 12-inch screen that you can buy and still have Livescope, right? Now, I already had Humminbird units in my boat, so I did not feel the need to switch everything over. This is a dedicated Livescope unit. That's all I do with it. So that's a decision that y'all need to make whenever you get into it, whether or not you're going to be using you know, these units for their side scan, down scan, mapping capabilities, or if you're going to use it strictly for Livescope. Mine's strictly used for Livescope, so I could go with the you know, a little cheaper model. Then you're gonna have to choose between a touch or a non-touch unit. Okay, now I do a lot of fishing during the winter, and I really do like just the knobs. This knob here, it controls a good majority of the functions. I can use it with gloves, everything else. The touchscreen models, my first unit, I started out with a 9-inch model. It was a touchscreen. I did not really like it in the wintertime. You know, wet hands from fish and gloves and everything else. So you need to make that decision too. Obviously, the non-touch units will be cheaper if you're looking for a price point difference too. So I said before, I've got the 1222. Now, whenever I first got into Livescope, I started out with the 93 SV. That's a 9-inch touchscreen. It's a very affordable unit. They run deals on them all the time. Now, I quickly upgraded to a 10-inch screen, and then finally I upgraded to a 12-inch screen. So whenever I talk with people about it, I urge people to start with a minimum of a 10-inch screen. You can always upgrade, but you know, I don't know anybody that says they would rather have a smaller screen. And you have to realize with this Livescope, it's like watching TV, right? So the bigger the screen, the better. You know, the more definition, the more detail you see. Also, there is a difference in detail and definition. There's a difference in processors whenever you jump up to these higher units. So that's something to consider too. Like I said, that's your complete point. I really do. I like the 12-inch screen. There's a hell of a difference between a 9-inch and a 10-inch screen, and there's a hell of a difference between a 10 and a 12-inch screen. I can't afford anything bigger, but you know, obviously that would be nice too. But the 12-inch screen is a good all around for what I do. I'm primarily a crappie fisherman, and you know, whenever you get into this, you're actually standing there watching that screen, you know, the majority of your fishing trip, right? If you have any questions, definitely leave them down below. Like I said, I've been running Livescope now I started running it in March of 2018. It took me a good minute to figure it out. That was kind of whenever everything started going. There's been a lot of updates, a lot of upgrades. There's Facebook groups. There's a bunch of information out there now that there wasn't before. So your learning curve can definitely, you know, you can have a smaller learning curve than, you know, whenever we first got going. All right, guys. So I hope that you found this video informative. A little bit of insight into my Livescope. The next video we're gonna actually dive into this unit. I'm gonna show you some of my settings. Settings are always controversial or talked about topics. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video informative. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We've got a lot of these type of videos on the channel. With that, guys, I'm gonna leave you to it. As always, I appreciate the view, and we'll see y'all next time.